Hello and welcome to the second cast of Primo Calcio. We are at another week of Serie A. I believe there are about 13 games played. Some teams have 12. Just had a pretty big weekend overall. Couple nice results here. Where
Yeah,
would
there
you
was
like to
some
start on the Serie A
there were
journey
some
here for
good
the team?
games. I think we could probably start with the beating that Inter put on Verona. That was uh, that was sad. You
It
know,
was sad and it was very quick.
that's what she said. It was
All
it
right.
was it was a bad time for Verona, I'm sure. But Inter looked like they had a good time. So that's just a quick one. They're rolling right now. They've got their form. They stumbled a little bit out of the blocks, but they're becoming they're just a class team and they're very scary.
Yeah, I mean, Correa's back, but the bigger story is that Thuram just keeps on churning.
Yeah, we could have got him for free. We don't want him though.
Hey, hey,
Yeah,
that was he's really close to coming to Milan. I believe that
yeah,
once again it was kind of cut short over the salary was maybe about
yeah.
500K to a million too high. It's like it's
That was our problem
amazing
too.
that they would rather pay a transfer fee for somebody than pay the salary. Even if the guy stays for 5 years, well, what are you paying? An extra like
Yeah,
5 mil, but you'd rather pay a 15 mil transfer fee for a guy like Emerson Royale. It's just very strange.
yeah.
So
I don't. It's Common Core math, and
yeah,
we had the same problem. We didn't. He was probably like
you
a
decided
mil
not to
too
get him either.
much. Yeah, but we'll sign like four average players for a shit ton of money, and that somehow works out. Because dealing with
Well,
excessive personnel is a lot easier than dealing with one excellent player.
he's proven all the people wrong who said, "Oh well, we dodged a bullet." Like, it took him like
Yeah,
6 games. Then all of a sudden he was good.
yeah, yeah. He he's
Inter's
been
turning though.
fantastic. Yeah,
They're
yeah,
doing great.
yeah. They're
Um,
scary as hell.
where are they
Another
in points? I think
they
1 to 2 points back
they
now.
are no, yeah, they're 1 point. I mean,
1 point back.
yeah, first through fifth is 1 point away.
Wow.
There's four teams
Second
tied at
through fifth
28.
all had 28 points. That's insane.
Yep, isn't that freaking nuts?
Atalanta, Inter, Fiorentina, and Lazio all have
Yep,
28 points, 1 point shy of Napoli. Then there's a
yep,
small gap to Juve at 25, a bigger gap to Milan at 19 with a game in hand. So
yeah.
it's tight still.
It's been a very fun season so far, and watching teams like Atalanta, Fiorentina, and Lazio has been an absolute joy. They're both on five-game winning streaks. I think maybe more for some of them, but all I can see on this is in their last five, those three teams are unbeaten. So they're red hot, dude. And
Yeah, there's probably more, right? But I mean, still
yeah, I mean,
pretty impressive. When's the last time you saw Lazio this good? It's been a long time.
oh yeah, it's been a very long time. I think since Inzaghi was here, but I don't even know if he had him looking this good.
No, I'm
I
sure he had
also
some runs, but like they always fizzled. So we'll see if they fizzled this time around again.
Yeah, I also just really like the way they play. I like the players they have. They have the grinta, baby. I like teams like that. They really are playing correctly. Um, Atalanta uh, on fire still, putting a pummeling on Parma. Retegui scores again. I mean, the guy just keeps scoring. He can't
Yep.
see. He can't stop.
It's a good ball from Bellanova, I think, to cross it in for
Beautiful.
the goal.
Yeah. Yep.
And
That's
then
beautiful
who
pass.
who got the second goal? Was it
Ederson.
Lukman,
Ederson.
I believe?
No, he got the third one. Ederson got the second goal. And Cancellieri had a good goal too. So I mean, some little young Italian getting
I did see that
on
one.
the
Yeah, that was good.
scoreboard. Yeah,
Yep, it is good goal.
that was a very good goal. It's funny today. I watched who was it? Uh, Venezia.
Who played today? Yeah,
Venezia.
Venezia versus Lecce.
Yeah, Venezia and Lecce. I watched them play today, and Oristano was very, very exciting to watch. Man, he's super fast, dangerous. He just couldn't put it in the net. But he was certainly a focal point. That was a fun thing to watch. But yeah, Dork scored again. Dorku. So
Dorgo, yeah,
he got
he's becoming a bit of a hot property in Serie A right now. I know a lot
he
of teams
is.
are looking at him. His value is starting to rise. I wonder, is he going to be like a one season wonder, or is he actually going to pan out long term? I don't know.
I mean, he's strong. He's fast. He puts
He's
in a good
young,
hard
right?
shift. Yeah, he puts in a good hard shift. I mean, I think one of the things is players like that don't really have that bad of a downside. Like even if they don't pan out, you don't pay too much for him, but he's at least gonna have a presence on the field and put in a good work rate. I I could see that a decent team taking a risk on him. I think it's a relatively low risk, um,
Depends on
high
the cost,
reward.
of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see how high his stock is gonna rise.
yeah, yeah.
But
And
let's pull off a win there.
did you see Keen score again too?
Yep. Yep.
Moist Keen. Yeah, nice goal too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good goal. I mean, he obviously has what it takes over. Tina. Like to see him get his confidence back for the national team. We'll see. It was his first game back. Let's see how he does after he gets a couple runs with Italy.
Yeah, and De Gea
But
had
no,
some
he's
amazing
killing it
keeping
right
there
now.
too. He's like three.
It has been awesome
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time.
He's been absolutely outstanding. It's
What a good signing though. I mean, they take somebody who's like kind of been there, done that, who's not that old yet, and then they bring him across. So it's a perfect signing to bring like some actual like captainship and leadership in the locker room too.
these
Great,
are the kinds of players that you add to young teams, and these are the kind of players that you bring to Italian clubs because they have like you come to Italy and you get like 4 more years on your calcio life.
definitely.
It's I don't know why some of our teams aren't doing these things, but they really need to take note because giving an experienced person with a pretty good pedigree and putting him in a locker room with a bunch of youngsters or people who haven't really ever done anything has a big impact, and he's been a good leader. He's got two youngsters in front of him, and they got one of the best defenses in the league. Another clean sheet, by the way.
Yep. I was gonna say another clean sheet, and my guy oddly got on the score sheet.
He did,
I'm just
yeah.
glad that he's starting to show his own. He's always been a player I wanted to keep at Milan. Very solid player, which just always played wrong or just given no time at all, no chances. And the true Milan fans had actually always liked him because he always had a lot of heart. So it makes sense that he'd be sold.
Yeah,
But
no, I feel like our
my
team's in the same
management,
spot with that. You know, I mean, I'm at the point now where any player that's good, I just want our team to sell because they're just going to bench
that's
him,
not going to help
and
there.
yeah, they're not going to
Exactly.
do well. Yeah, I think your mic's cutting in and out a little bit more. I think you might need to insert it into your throat.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, is this better?
Yeah, yeah, that's better.
Any
Yes, I
closer?
mean, yeah, that's better. And then
Good.
yeah, we had a good showing from Miretti. You know, he finally had a good game. He was all over the place, got himself a goal. That was fun to watch. And then my favorite game of the weekend was Napoli Roma. I loved that game. Did you get to see that whole thing?
I did not get to see a lot. I saw the highlights, but I did not get to see the whole game. Give me a little bit of a rundown from your standpoint. I saw the big moments, but I didn't see all like the little nuance, which is kind of where the game really lies.
Well, we were worried about a you know, like that new coach. What's it called? The new coach boom or whatever. You know, Ranieri comes there. It seemed like a trap game for Napoli. Um, he
Yeah,
showed some.
I still thought Napoli would pull it off, though. It's still Roma.
Yeah, and it's still Conte. I mean, Conte's not going to give people much
Exactly.
room to work with, and it was odd because Roma just parked the bus. You know, they went out with a 5-3-2, which is fine. People say it's a defensive formation, and it really doesn't have to be. It all depends how you coach it. But his intention with that was to definitely lock it down. And yeah, they were just getting you know, turtling up in their in their box right from minute one, and it was hard for Napoli to put it in. They finally got one in. Nice. So Di Lorenzo has been playing absolutely fantastic this year.
Yeah, he
I
looks like a totally different player.
yeah, he might be the best right back in Serie A this year. I mean, his goal contribution, his defending's actually surprisingly good. That's where I give him the knock always. Is he gives up crucial goals. I yeah, I some bad memories there, but he's playing incredible this year under Conte. The tactics were fantastic, and then yeah, Lukaku got a nice dirty goal. And then Napoli decided to turtle up and sit on on the win. Another Conte win in the books, another scrappy game, and Napoli has gotten
Yep.
through this run of tough games with a damn good record for it. So good for them. I'm glad to see Conte stay on top of the table with Napoli. You know, I know people were giving Kvara some shit because he didn't play his best game. Although I think his first half was decent, but Yeah, he was off his game, but he still made the setup pass to Di Lorenzo. So I mean, he's
I mean, I didn't
he's
get to see a lot of it, and I kind of read similar. But I mean, from what I saw, he was involved in a couple big moments. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. He's never like he does still work hard. He's not one of those players who's like a nonstop worker, but he does enough to where like when he's playing bad, he never looks that awful.
You
Um,
always notice him out there for sure. You
yep,
always notice
yeah.
him, and for the right reasons. He did. There was one moment in the game, and this is going to be a theme, I think, as we get to the later the Juve Milan game. The amount there was one point in the game where he threw himself on the ground, screamed, and stayed on the ground until I think it was had to be like a minute later that his own team had to kick the ball out of bounds so he can get back up. And when you see the contact, dude, it's like the lightest brushing. It's a total embellishment, and I really believe they should card people for that, or and make them sit out off the field for 5 minutes. It's disgraceful behavior, has no place in the game, and I like him, but I was just pissed. I'm like
Oh yeah, I mean
get up,
everybody
dude.
does it. It's just I think the refs are the only ones who could stop this. Right? Like
Yeah,
if the refs actually start penalizing people for doing that, for diving, for like excessive simulation, just things that are just outrageous, open mouth screaming when nobody barely touches you, it really would make the game just real back like the years in a good way and kind of get back to how people used to enjoy it watching it play. It's a little bit rough right now watching every single weekend.
yeah.
There's going to be dives in no matter what league. Yes, there's less in certain leagues, but and more in others. But it's across the board now, and it is something of a epidemic in the game. I don't know. It's something that's really,
It's
really frustrating. I wish
it's
they would punish
it's
people.
making it hard to watch. That's for sure. For me, it's like there's a good flow to the game. The problem is
Hmm.
like players are playing for it. They're just like it's when someone gets close to them, they just kick the ball away and throw themselves on the ground. So you lost the ball, you failed, your move didn't work. You don't just get to throw yourself on the ground, play victim, and get a reward. You lose. Good day, sir. I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
but the problem is they almost always get a reward for
they
doing it.
do.
It's
Yeah,
like
the
it's
refs are enabling it.
8 out of 10 times if you dive, you're probably going to get the call.
Oh yeah.
It's just wild.
I saw
But
I saw in the game Empoli Udinese, two players clashing into each other. I don't know who the hell they were, I forget. And they both like kind of looked at each other and then they both fell down, writhing in pain, and it was like comical. And the refs, of course, stopped the play, decided which team he wanted to favor in that moment because he probably wasn't even looking at what happened. It was such a joke, man.
happens all the time.
Yeah, it as a grown man, you should be ashamed of yourself for behaving that way. And if
I
if
agree.
if any of these people are husbands and fathers, they should be extra ashamed of themselves. And for all these edgy tattoos and asymmetrical haircuts we're
Yeah,
seeing
it's
out
very, very
there,
tough.
yeah, yeah. I mean, then but yet they'll tat themselves up and get these edgy haircuts and act badass, but the second they're touched on the field, they fall on the ground
Yeah,
and
they crumple and
scream and
open mouth
cry.
scream. It's
Yeah.
very much a strange dichotomy. Question for you, since you actually watched the Roma and Napoli game, and I wasn't able to see it. Was there any standouts from Roma, or were the tactics okay? Were there any players who kind of caught your eye, or not really?
No, I thought that Roma was pretty abysmal. I think that Davbik was pretty powerful. He had a nice header off the crossbar, but great strikers put those in. It happens though. He's a powerful player. Angelino, I would say, was Roma's best player. He was technical. Anytime they did move it forward, it seemed to go to his side. Baldanzi had his like, oh God, he's good sometimes and bad
Yeah.
sometimes, and that happens in the same game, and sometimes in the same minute, and you're just kind of wondering
Yeah,
what he's
you
going to
can see
become.
there's like a ton of potential, but then it's like he kind of fizzles.
Yeah, he does.
We'll
He
see.
fizzles. He fizzles. I think what you say like the other day? He was like poor man's Jovinko.
Yeah, for now, I mean, who knows? He could end up being better, but for me here, because he's short of stature, right? He's very agile. He reminds me of a worse version of Jovinko right now. like as just
Yeah.
their quality at this point in their career. He's only 21, so you never know. He could become a very, very
Is
good
he?
player,
He's only 21.
but we'll see. I think so.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah.
Really?
I thought he
I
was
think he's older than
pretty.
that,
I
man.
thought he was right around 21, but
No, you're right. He's
let me
21. So yeah,
see.
he's a youngster.
Yeah, so he's a
Yeah.
kid. So I mean,
Yeah.
with you give him time. There's enough potential there and skill there to not cast the verdict too soon. But I mean, yeah, I'm not sure how he'll develop, but he's got a lot of promise. But he also has those moments where you kind of question, will he actually ever be a very good player?
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
not so sure.
He was definitely better than Pellegrini, and he definitely had more shots on goal and more proactive plays. Uh,
Yeah, you never know.
he,
Like, when a player like that gets in like the right environment, the right team, you just never
yeah,
know.
yeah. Kone was okay. He did some good stuff. He did some bad stuff. You know, he's. I don't know where his
I think
if he has
Kone's a
the
solid
game
player,
reading.
right?
Yeah, he's solid. His game reading skills need to improve a little bit, but his he's a good athlete. He's a good player. I like him. I like what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
Cristante is just kind of there. I don't know. Like it's
He's like a solid Serie A player. He's not a player you want to keep to go to the next level here. You know, he'll kind of keep you like a good mid packer team.
I guess. I mean, he's kind of
He's
like
like
one of
a mid
those.
pack Serie A midfielder.
Would you have one of those like robot vacuums at your house that you just kind of set up and they just drive around on their own?
I don't, but
That's
I get what you're saying with him. Yeah,
yeah,
he's just gonna do his thing.
yeah. You
Every
know,
once in a while
it's
though, he's gonna make a mistake, just like that they can't go over carpet. I see what
yeah,
you're talking about.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But
He'll scoop up some crap, bump into some chair legs. You know,
every once in a while, he'll
it's
chip in with a goal though.
yeah, yeah. Well, every
It's rare
once in
though. That's rare.
it's every once in a while. Well, he's got
Guess
that.
a powerful shot.
He's got that
Yeah.
wooden leg. You know, he just bang. Yeah. Speak.
Did you see the other guy? The other guy who's like that, Pobega. You see
Oh yeah,
his challenge?
I was just gonna go to
Is she
that. Did you
going?
see the
Yeah,
other wooden leg guy? It was
yeah.
amazing. That's got to be the dumbest play of the year. What do you think?
It was great. It was great. I don't know what he was sliding for in the opponent's box. Like,
Oh,
all right, man. He was already on the yellow too. I'm
what
pretty
was
sure he was
he
already on the
gonna
yellow.
do? What was he gonna do?
He
Like,
thought he
what
was gonna
was?
make a sweet steal and then be one on one with the
That's what
keeper.
his brain thought. His brain thought that.
Yeah,
That's the most amazing part. Is his brain thought this was an awesome thing to do.
yeah, it was pretty
I'm
bad.
going for it.
That's pretty bad.
I mean, that was the shame of the thing is that was a really good game up until that point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
That was a good game.
they didn't. Well, it was still 0-0, I believe, until
Yeah,
about the second half even.
yeah.
So
It was a good game until that point. Lazio kind of, they went through the rest of the half, and then they came out second half, and it took
Bologna
about
has actually
five to
been
ten
looking
minutes.
better of late too. I mean, they're definitely still within the hunt. They've got a game in hand as well, so if they win it, they're at 21 points. They're not that far out of it. So I mean,
Yeah,
they've what won? They drew one, won three, and then their last one obviously this weekend
yeah.
was a loss. So they were in a pretty good vein of form. Um,
Oh, they are. They're not doing bad. Italiano was, and rightly so, was pissed at Pobega. Pissed.
of course, the game
Uh,
entirely changes when that happens. Right, you go down on a man in a key spot. What do you think's gonna happen?
that's a huge game. That was a huge game for them to win. They'll have more
Well, because
opportunities
they're like
to.
I think I'd be pretty close to them because I mean Lazio is now at 28 points, right?
Hmm.
So if we look at where they were
They're
at,
now 10 points behind Lazio. 10.
like,
Yeah, that's a big swing.
yeah,
That's a big swing. To get 0 points there
yeah,
off
they
of.
could have been at 21 if they would have won at
Yeah,
21 with the game in hand. Lazio would have been at 25, and then if they would have won their game in hand, 24 to 25. That's a massive swing.
yeah. And they just took a -3 goal differential, so they're now at -1 goal differential on that on
Yeah,
the
that was actually
season.
a very very big game
Yeah,
for them.
yeah. That's. I mean, it's
Who does
obviously
Bologna have coming up next?
there's a lot of season left, but
Of course,
Bologna's
but
got Venezia. They got so that they got to put that one away.
you got Champions League against Lille. They have Venezia, Monza, and then Juve. So they have to win Venezia, Monza. They got to, or
Yeah.
actually, Monza's Coppa Italia. Never mind. Actually, that's just Coppa. It's just
Oh
Venezia,
yeah,
and then they
just
have
put the
Juve,
backups on for that. Yeah.
and then they got Fiorentina. So they got two hard games after this. So they must
Yeah.
win Venezia because of Juve and Fiorentina are gonna be tough games.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's difficult for them.
But
Let's see
I will say
what
this.
other games we have.
No,
What were we gonna say?
I want to say Lazio real quick. 'Cause my player of the game was Ravella. He was outstanding.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, his passing. If you just watch the highlights of that game, he's in like
I
every
saw.
single one of them.
He
His
has so much character, so much
yeah,
presence. Like when you see him back there, he's a true regista. Like he
he's a true
always is
regista.
giving the defense an outlet. Like he never wants to leave you stranded. And when you play, if you ever play the game, you love players like that because you always know when you're screwed, you're kind of backing yourself into a corner. Somebody's gonna be looking to give you an outlet, and he's always gonna be there. I love players like that.
Dude, and he's tackling like a absolute monster. And his passing yesterday was
Yep.
so good. I mean, every like all these forward balls, like he doesn't just patty cake it to the center backs or do the switch. He's sending direct balls forward that are dangerous, and he's hitting his targets. That's the kind of shit I want to see out of my regista. Like I haven't seen a regista actually do forward passes like that in a long time since like Pirlo.
Yep.
It's really nice to see a guy who can actually pick out a pass and hit it. So
No,
I just
he had the most tackles in Serie A, and now he's only one behind Frendrup. So it's 37-36. So he's in the top few for tackles in Serie A right now. It's
that's
awesome.
awesome, absolutely awesome. Yeah, he's
Irun
been
is
having a
up there,
great
of
year.
course. I mean, like, and those are are mids. It's great.
Yeah, I mean those that's amazing company to be in. I mean those are some really
Here's
solid
a
solid players.
here's a very curious stat. If you just now take a guess, what is the attacker with the most tackles in Serie A?
The attacker, Moist Keen.
Nope. You get one more guess.
One more game.
He's
Give me
on
a
he's on one of the big teams.
one of the big teams.
And he's
Taram.
not a striker.
He's not
Not
a
a striker.
striker. Shalanoglu.
Nope, it is Yildiz.
Oh really?
Yildiz has 26 tackles.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you know
He
what's
has the
sad
same
is
amount of
when
tackles as Locatelli.
what's when your best player is
Oh
a
no,
19-year-old
and that's
winger.
good though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Locatelli's up there. He's 11th in tackles, and Yildiz is
Yeah,
tied
that's
as a winger,
awesome. I
right?
mean, dude, Yildiz is one of our few bright spots. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
very
our
much.
best player, and he's 19 years old. I mean, that's great for him, but I mean, he shouldn't be. Yeah, it's indictment. Let's get into the game of the week, the quote unquote game of the week.
The game of the week. All right, yeah,
What a
absolute
game
snooze fest. I actually
between these
waited
two
because
legendary
the way you
clubs.
you were texting me, I couldn't believe it because I couldn't watch it live, and so you're texting me, oh, you got to watch the game. All right,
Yeah.
okay, I'll watch it. I watched the first half. I'm like, all right, something's got to be coming up the second half, and like, no,
Nothing ever came. The girls never came.
nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It was so
Yeah,
bad. Yeah.
it was so bad.
Dude, these clubs used to be so awesome. I think this game subbed up the state of both of our clubs here. This is
There
just
wasn't even any passion. Like, because,
no.
if you had like a feisty 0-0 draw where like it was
Oh,
intense,
I
cool,
yeah, I loved it. I
cool.
don't mind a 0-0
There
draw.
was
Yeah.
nothing. There was no battling. There was no fights. There was no heart. There's no goals. And I don't need goals to have a great game.
No.
But there was just nothing there. There was no like danger.
It
You
wasn't
know,
even a good tactical matchup. Like they're
no, it was
like
not a good tactical
the
battle.
Inter Napoli battle was an excellent tactical battle. I loved watching that. That was
That
excellent.
was probably
Lazio
my,
Bologna.
my favorite game I've seen so far. Was
Yeah,
the
that's my favorite game of
International
this
one.
season. Yeah,
Yeah,
Lazio
it was
Bologna was
good.
shaping up into a good battle there too until Pobega ruined it. But I mean, there wasn't even there was nothing nothing in that game. None of
You
the
couldn't
players
grab
wanted
on
it.
anything.
No,
Yeah, it was just bad.
no. I mean, everybody was falling on the ground, whining and crying. Uh, it was awful, man. It's just
Yep.
awful. I mean, Conceição had a good start to the game, then completely faded out. Yildiz made some good made some good plays, had
Yeah,
a
he,
couple
he had some
shots.
good runs, especially earlier. He made a couple of nice plays past an Emerson Royale, who's a total joke of a
Yep.
player. And I mean, if his shooting boots were on, he would have done some more damage. But yeah, I mean, that was it. I don't really see any other threat because I
I mean,
mean, Juve didn't even have a striker.
I'm so disappointed that our entire strategy, and it seemed like it's the same way for Milan. The Milan did get a lot better when they put Pulisic on, but it wasn't. They were already such a dead team; you couldn't do too much.
Yeah,
But like everything is just bang it to the wing, see if he can win his one-on-one. It's like that's how we're playing now. That's what we're gonna
100%.
do.
Yeah,
That
they were seeing if Yildiz and Cambiaso could get a good enough run. The problem is they were beating our Milan's right side as much as they wanted to, but there was nobody in the center. Like so, there was nobody to actually feed for it. So yes, you beat it, but what's
they
gonna
can't
happen
really
then?
feed
You're not
anyways. I
crossing
mean,
anybody.
yeah, I mean, Conceição has to always cut in. He can't use his right foot at all. and so he's got to cut in to make the pass. Savona was staying way back to cover out, and rightfully so. My biggest fear going into the game was Leao and Teo, and they spent more time rolling on the ground than actually playing the game, so it kind of worked out. Savona did a decent job covering them up. But like Konstantin didn't really do shit with the ball, and yeah, he didn't have anybody to pass to. But we kind of knew that, right? I mean, there's no striker, and everyone's for everyone how much everyone bitches at
Why did
Vlahovic.
they play? Why did they play Coop Miners as the false nine
They didn't.
rather
He didn't play as
than?
a false nine. It was wrong.
That's what I thought because I
Yeah,
didn't see him at
yeah,
all as a false nine. He was drifting
yeah.
wide a lot, and there's no way he was instructed to be a false nine. And I think they were
No,
just going for like a pure like defensive setup and just like nope,
yeah.
you're not. There was
He
plenty of times every single member was behind the ball.
Yeah, well, so McKennie was the false nine. Thiago Motta said it after the game. Thiago Motta said
Gotcha.
McKennie was, and then they brought Fagioli on to do it. I mean, I think that's just Thiago Motta is very cautious. I appreciate it. I think he's doing the right things with the team. I think we have a very poor roster. It's poorly assembled, and we have a lot of injuries. We had 7 players out for that game. Now, I think 2 or 3 of them are actually matter, and your team should be constructed well enough so that that doesn't destroy your entire team. But being down a striker, especially a guy like Vlahovic, was a big deal because, I mean, as a center back, you know damn well going to a game, even if Vlahovic is having a bad season or whatnot, you still got to deal with that guy. You're like, oh, cool, I get to deal with McKennie. Fine, no problem. He doesn't even know what he's
Who's their
doing.
their backup? Just Milik?
Milik,
Is
he's
that it?
injured. Yeah, and he was
He's
in.
injured. Yeah. So
Yeah, and they didn't pick up a striker because,
yeah, I'm just
you
so
know,
confused why
they're
they didn't just
stupid.
pick up like a young guy. He doesn't even need to be great. Just like pick up a young guy.
Because they needed to sign 4 center midfielders and 3 wingers. I don't, like, it's
That reminds
unbelievable.
me of Milan's Mercato a season ago when they bought like Musa CM, Reinders CM, Loftus-Cheek CM. When anybody who knows the team was like, guys, can you buy a defensive midfielder, like an actual defensive midfielder?
Yeah.
No,
No,
no, they wouldn't do that. They did not replace Tonali, Kessier, Benacer. All defensive midfielders. Yes, Tonali transitioned into a CM, but all defensive midfielders, they got none. They
yeah,
just
they
got the same
didn't.
player over and over again.
They're.
That
I
reminds
think
me
our club's doing
of
the
that
same
that
thing.
season.
They're doing.
Yeah, I
They're
think
they're
you've been
just
saying
bringing
that. You
guys
was just a
in.
little behind, right?
Yeah. We're like two years behind Milan right now in our strategy. I think I had a I'll post it maybe in the midweek or something. But
Put it
I
on
had
X or something.
yeah, I had a formation of what our team would look like if the signings that Giuntoli made actually worked out, and there would only be like 2 Italian players on the team because he only brought in Di Gregorio.
Right.
Everybody else was a foreign player, and they're all getting outplayed by guys like Locatelli. Like Locatelli, they had no intention of him actually being a player. You don't sign Douglas
No.
Luiz for 55 million because you want Locatelli to play. They wanted him out.
Well,
And Coop
of course
Miners
not.
hasn't put a single good performance in all season, and he's every time he's available, he's on the field, and that was his worst game by far. Uh, and he hasn't had any good ones, but that was his worst one
Yeah,
by
I
far.
just didn't see him doing anything.
Oh no, he couldn't control the ball; it was bouncing off his feet. He
I
couldn't
do think
pass.
that Taram always looks solid. He's got
Yeah.
good battle, good fight. He's young. He's got a ton of potential. I mean, like it wasn't like he was amazing, but I do think like when I see him playing, I'm like, yeah, this guy's probably gonna become pretty good.
Oh, I like Taram. You know, we've been after him for a couple years now, and it's one of the few signings that we made that I was like, okay, finally, we've got this guy in here.
I mean,
I
the
like him.
price was right too. I
Yeah,
mean,
20
the
million.
price was
Yeah,
right. The age was right. I mean, it
yeah.
fit. It just fit.
You know, he's, kind of like I'm saying, or earlier. Even if he's having a bad game, he's still big, athletic, and strong, and works hard. He's still gonna be around the ball and
Hmm.
doing stuff. Coop Miners he's a gump. He's slow. He's technical, but if he can't get the ball, and if the technique isn't working that day, he's just out of the game. So and he's been like that
What
all
do you think
season.
about like the formation, the tactics? I mean, you feel like that he
I,
kind of did what he needed to do? Do you feel like it wasn't good? Would you have done something different for Juve? That is.
I would have liked to have tried Weah up top because I think that Weah would make a little bit more, a few more runs. Although I thought McKennie, it's not the worst tactic. Like who else are you going to put up there at striker? You can move Yildiz to the center, which I think that he's just afraid to lose. He knew that he knew that Yildiz was going to dominate Royale because Royale sucks, and so he was afraid to lose having that dominance on that side on that
Yeah.
wing because Weah is not a good winger. Weah's goals are always Weah's good at getting in there and when everyone else is doing all the things, he's good at getting in there and making something happen. But Weah's not a guy you're going to get the ball to. He's going to like take control of the game or beat his man or he's not going to have a huge presence out there. And so I think he was thinking Conceição was going to control Teo on that side, and Yildiz is going to control Emerson. And that's where I think Fonseca lined his team up so defensively too. And I think that Fonseca did a really horrible job as a coach because Milan have a better team. Like Chukwueze or whatever his name is, Pulisic and Leao with Teo. That's scary for a team like Juventus. It is. And
I think you get to see the dependence on Pulisic.
yeah,
It's he's really become he's always been a very good player. I mean, from his youth growing up at Dortmund and whatnot, he's always been good wherever he's went. He got screwed at Chelsea, but when he did play, he was very good, and he's good for the national team. He's never actually been bad. But either way, you get to see like how good he actually is, because without him, it seemed like the threat was just very very sporadic here and there. When he's playing, he's almost like that he's not like a Ravella position, but he's always looking for the ball in the attack. He's like a Ravella but for the attack, right?
well,
He's on the wing, but he's looking for the ball to coordinate to transition mid to attack. He's that link that when he's not there, they don't really have.
I think he's a
And Musa's
proper.
not a wing.
I think he's a proper attacking midfielder. He can play wider in the center. I think
Yeah,
he
he can
just
play anywhere.
is.
It's awesome.
Yeah, he's a prop. Like you, if you ran like a 4-3-1-2, you could play him in the hole. He's that kind of
100%. Yeah,
player.
he can play there too. Yeah,
Yeah,
he takes the free kicks. He definitely
yeah,
delivers the best corner. So you got to kind of see what happens when he's not there. Honestly, I would have liked to see Fonseca do a three-man back line like he did
yeah,
before. I think he had either 3-4-3 this or 3-5-2 this, and he really missed an opportunity because if you do a three-man, you can then put Musa as a wing back, which he was very, very good as a wing back because he's got a ton of pace. You can put
yeah.
Teo in that position as well. You just run Fofana Reiners in midfield. And then yeah, you just put Chukwueze out on the right side. And yes, he's not a great player, but he does come in with a couple times a game. He does something dangerous, which is gonna be better than putting Musa at wing.
Well,
I really
I think a
don't
three
like
four
Fonseca's
three.
tactics.
Yeah, I think a 3-4-3 is definitely the way. It helps your
3-4-3
defenders
is
out a
totally
lot.
yeah.
It puts your all your players in better positions. And left ass cheek doesn't need to be on the field for Milan.
No, he's not worth it. He was
he's
a
totally
one season
useless.
solid pick. I was totally against his signing. I mean, he had a good first season, but I just don't care. Like, he's not a great player. I would have totally rather taken Taram over Loftus Cheek.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, they're the same type of player. One's just better and younger.
Oh, I totally agree. I think that there's a lot of players that Juventus are bringing in right now that are in that vein. And my biggest fear is like we know what these players are. It's not that difficult to see what they are. They're never going to be world class. They're always going to be okay. We pay absolute top dollar for them, and they're going to be so apologized for so long that they're just going to rot away at our team. And I think I referenced on X. Do you remember 2007 when we brought in Thiago, Juventus team?
Yep.
That guy sucked the entire time he was here. But because he was from a different country and I don't know, we gave him like a big salary. I think it was actually free, but we gave him a big salary. The fans just were like, oh man, anytime he did something average, it was the greatest thing they've ever seen. And every time he did something shitty or had a bad game, it was excuses, excuses, excuses. It wasn't until we got rid of bums like that, and we had a bunch of players like that. It wasn't until we got rid of bums like that and admitted our flaws that then that's when we pushed forward to our championships. But I feel like that's how our teams are full of Tiagos right now. And that's what we saw, yeah, this weekend was just a bunch of Tiagos. I don't know.
I
That's
don't know.
my assessment.
It was a bad game, and yes, it
Uh,
did kind of show where our teams are at. Like, yes, there's some potential there for both teams, but they're really not where they need or want or should be. Um, and I guess the main difference, what I kind of said last time, is that Thiago Motta is taking this current team, a lot of new players and new faces. He's a pretty unknown coaching quantity so far, but He's starting to show some promise. He at least I think is trying to build in the right direction. I haven't seen any very negative signs of that. On the other bench, you have Fonseca there, who is not really trying new things. He's not trying to develop some type of a certain system. He's not developing an identity for this team. It seems disjointed all over the place. He'll switch formations on the fly, and not for any good reason either. It's not like he's changing it for some big Champions League game. He's just changing formations right now. And he just doesn't seem like he's had it. It's been a terrible choice from the management. I expect nothing less from this management. I think most Milan fans knew this management of Redbird only wanted a yes man, and they didn't
Yeah.
want to get somebody like Conte who would ruffle feathers. They didn't want to get somebody with a strong personality like that, and we're seeing the result of that right now.
Well, it's hard to find a great coach that doesn't care what players you sign.
Yeah,
You know
of
that
course.
that's the problem. Any coach is going to be like, no, I'm going to build my team, and I'm coming here. I'm not coming to Milan so I can wallow around in mid-table and play Moneyball. I'm coming to Milan because I want a world-class team that can compete for titles and Champions Leagues.
Like,
And
what coach is okay with them signing Emerson Royale? Like,
uh,
it's like that's not an upgrade over Calabria.
how
It's
much money
just not
did you
like what's
spend
the
on
point?
Emerson Royale? I
Like
thought he was.
15.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
thought
like
he was
it's
a decent
crazy
chunk of change.
in this day and age, but it's not nothing. I mean, like usually I would rather play a Primavera for free and
Yeah,
let him grow. You're gonna get a better player, and he might turn into something special. You get nothing with this guy.
dude. You are first of all, you have Calabria and you have Terracciano. Like, who cares? Just play those guys.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
need to spend
Terracciano's
15
been
million.
no, you don't need to spend it all. But we have great Primavera players.
Yeah, but Terracciano's zero. He's not good, but he's zero. Yeah, yeah, play some Primavera players. I'm saying you don't need to spend $15 million on a hole that didn't need to be filled in the first place. And now they're like just stuffing him on the field every week in and week out. It's like, why are you so obligated to play this guy?
I have no idea.
You know,
I
it's
have no idea. But
that's the thing. Like that
but we got
guy. This is how our whole Juventus team is. Like it's Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale has done nothing to earn that starting position. Absolutely nothing. His play has not warranted he starts. Why is he starting?
I
That's my
think just
question.
the management has to see if there's a player in there because they spent their money. So they're probably gonna give him an entire season before they allow the coach to bench him.
That's absolutely ridiculous, and it's unfair to people who are kicking ass right now. And that's how I feel about Cope Miners. Cope Miners hasn't put a single good performance in, but yet he gets to start every single week, week in, week out. He's on the field. That's not
Yeah,
fair.
it's because he was expensive, right?
Yeah, because he was super pricey, and I guarantee when Douglas Louise comes back, the only reason Douglas Louise was an absolute horror show. He has, I mean, I'm talking about Coop Miners not playing any good games. He's been like my rating for him on a scale of 1 to 10 for Coop Miners is this season has been a 4. Douglas Luiz has been like a -5. He's cost us goals. He's been an uh, absolute disaster. And I guarantee you, the second he's healthy from whatever uh, bullshit injury he has, that I'm sure is just milking it right now, they're going to put him right on the field. They're going to trot him right out,
Of course.
and he's going to get a starting place because that's the way this management works now, and that's the way our coach works. I like Moda. I think he's doing the right things. He plays a very basic tactic, and anybody can run him. That's what they run in high school or around here. High school teams use it. Everyone knows exactly where they need to stand, but he's got them really well organized in defense, and that's the most important thing
It's
in
I
my
got
opinion.
a team working hard, fighting for each other. So that's
Yeah,
something you can actually build off of. So we'll see what becomes. There's a lot of season left. We'll see
yeah.
how they kind of round out this last month, but before the winter break. So, were there any other games we want to talk about?
No, I think that's those are the noteworthy ones. I know we wanted to really dive into the great Juve Milan matchup,
Oh
those
yeah.
classic the classic battle. Let's get into do you want to talk a little bit about Champions League or just go on to the next week?
Um, we could do preview, but before that, who are your three standout players from this week?
Oh, my three
I've
standout
got
players.
mine.
Okay, my three standout players from this week. Well, you do yours. I know one of them for sure.
Mine is going to be Rovella. Mine is going to be what's it, Turam from Inter, and Pobega for different reasons.
I'm gonna just copy yours. I love the Pobega
Isn't it
addition.
great? Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta toss them in there.
yeah,
I didn't
I
say
love
stand
it.
out because they're great, just
Yeah,
standout
they were
players.
standout
Yeah.
players. Yeah, I would. Taram, it's almost gonna take it for granted at this point, but he was so good. So I'm gonna scratch him from my list, and I'm gonna add De Gea from Fiorentina.
Yeah,
But
yeah, he's having a hell of a season. That's
yeah, and
good.
that might not even have been his best game, but I
No,
just
it
think
wasn't.
he's been
He
so
played
good.
amazing against Milan. He was just
Yeah,
top notch, man.
dude, he's
So
yeah.
what are the games coming up looking like? Let's see. So match day 13, match day 14 coming up next. Okay, we've got Cagliari versus Verona. And not very interested in that game. Monza versus Como. That'll be kind of an interesting one because they're both not doing great. I
Right.
would hope Monza starts performing a little bit. They got a couple players I like on their team.
Monza really needs to step it up, and
I know.
I'd hate to say it, but Nesta needs to go. They
Yeah, I just
they
don't know what they're gonna do. Like seriously, look at their team. They've lost all their good players.
no,
Like
they
when
didn't. They
who do
they
they have?
lost. Who they lose last year? Di
Let's see.
Gregorio
They lost
and
Colpani, they lost Di
Colpani.
Gregorio, who were their two best players by far. The year before, they lost Sensi, they lost Rovella, they lost whoever the other
Yeah,
striker
but
was.
last year they
They've been
had a decent.
slowly.
Last year
Last
they
year
had a
they were
decent
worse,
season.
so they've been
Yeah,
getting worse and worse each year,
yeah. Well,
right?
that's what
So
happens
they
when you
keep
sell all your
plucking
good
players
players.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Let me
I'm not
see who they
blaming
have
that.
left.
A good coach is going to come in there and turn it around. I think they had an awesome coach,
He will
and now
not.
they just have a coach. Nesta is
They
not going to do the
have
job there.
they have the two good players. They have Bondo, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
like that guy, and they have Maldini, who's could become something,
a
but is
better
not yet.
coach who can get more out of that team, dude.
All right, look at this lineup.
They're not
Seriously,
bad. They're not
Turazzi,
bad. Not.
Izzo,
I like Tirati.
Mari,
I like
Carboni,
Itzo. Mari's been
Pereira,
okay. Yeah, Mari. Yeah, Carboni. Yeah.
Bondo, Bianco, Kyrgiakopoulos, Mota,
Why wasn't
Maldini, and
Pacina
Juric.
starting that game? Is he
Don't
injured
know.
now?
I'm not sure.
I mean, they have Sensi still. They have Pacina on the roster. They
Yeah,
have
they actually have
Birandelli
a
hasn't touched the
Catania
field
still too.
really. Yeah, dude. They have Churia. I mean, he just these are his choices. So
Hmm.
he chooses Juric every game. Danny Mota is an excellent player. I like Danny Mota. Like he's good. I do not. I
What's
like
going on with
Nesta.
Sensi? Is he got
I,
problems or something?
I don't know. I think his knees are. You've seen that South Park where Kyle wants to be a basketball player
Yeah,
and
he
they
gets
use
like knee implants. Yeah.
yeah, he gets testicles put for his knees. I think that's basically what they did to Sensi. He's just done.
Him and what's the guy's name? What's the young guy's name? Is it Zaniolo? Yeah.
Done. Oh,
You
speaking of
hear
which, though,
they're starting to investigate him, right? You hear that?
why for what?
Betting. I mean,
Ah,
you know he was
yeah,
always involved in that type of stuff. But
of
yeah,
course, of course. But I you know what can I change Pobega because I don't want to steal your thunder with that. That was funny. I want to put Lazzari up there because he's come back from another injury and he looked lively and fast again. I like seeing Lazzari out there. Uh, that's one of my
yeah,
guys. I would pick him up if I was building a team. I like Lazzari. He's he's a fighter. He's fast. And
solid wing back
yeah, he's a
for
solid
sure.
player, man. I mean, these are good players that should be picked up by bigger clubs when they're
I think we are saying
rebuilding.
last time. I really like I got Lazio. They're like the forgotten team,
Yeah,
the forgotten players that actually all come pretty good.
oh, they come good. I like their team a lot. Yeah. So Juventus got a cakewalk. Roma's going to get pounded by Atalanta. I actually think that could be a trap game for Atalanta. I'm waiting for Ranieri to figure it out.
You're gonna say that every weekend
I am.
until
I
Roma
am.
gets one
I,
win. Until Roma springs like one
yeah.
surprising win, it's always
And
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
a
be like,
trap
they're
game.
right. I was right. It was a trap. I just keep saying it. I don't know. Atalanta, the
Inter
wheels have got to fall
Fiorentina,
off, don't
Inter
they?
Fiorentina are gonna be the game there. That's really
I
the
don't.
only
I
awesome game that I'm
think.
seeing right there. Inter
I don't
Fiorentina
think
looks
that's
good.
going to be a great game. I think Inter's going to pound the shit out of them.
Really?
Well,
No
Who does
way.
Inter play this week in Champions League?
Let's see.
That's the question. If Inter plays a good team in Champions League, yeah, I then maybe. But I think that Fiorentina is going to just get outclassed by a team that's also in form.
All right, so let's see what they got coming up. So Inter they play Leipzig. They play Leipzig tomorrow,
Okay.
Fiorentina,
And then
and then
Fiorentina
they
on
have
Sunday.
Parma and then Leverkusen. The next like several,
I don't know.
2 weeks
Maybe
here.
it'll be a closer. I hope it's a close game. I feel like Inter's going to win that game 2
I don't
0.
think it's gonna be a blowout. I really don't think I think it's gonna be like a 1 goal game maximum.
I've been so I never would have believed Camuzzo and Ranieri would be the third best defense in Serie A. Another clean sheet last week, by the way. But at some point, you're still going against Turam and even off form Lautaro. I mean, that's yikes, man. I mean that would scare me on paper, but it's this. We don't win the games on paper, right? And I love the
I
Fiorentina
think it's
what they're
going to be
doing this
a
year.
good game. This is the
Yeah,
best chance for Fiorentina possible to kind of get a good scalp. I mean
yeah,
they're in the best form they've ever been in. The Milan game is should be easy for them. Empoli's
yeah.
not good. There's not that many other great games really. I mean you got Roma Atalanta, you got Inter Fiorentina. Those are the two standout games. The rest not so much.
Empoli's a top 10 team, bro. Okay, they've allowed
Oh
less
man,
goals
top
than
10.
Milan have. Okay, watch out for Empoli.
Yeah, right. I mean,
VV's been looking
if
good. What a
Milan
good young
is
player.
scared of these teams, it just shows you where they're at, right?
I mean,
Shows you where,
yeah,
where Milan is at.
yeah. I mean, what's Fonseca was scared of rebuilding Juventus that can't win games with and they don't have a striker, and he came out with a
Yeah,
great
zero
players.
striker, and yeah, exactly. He's not just like blitzing forward and sending the troops, right?
Oh, dude,
It's
when
like,
I
what
saw
the
the
hell,
lineup, I
man?
said, "Thank God, thank God." I mean, because
Yeah, strange.
teams can score on us, you know, good teams especially. So, I mean, there's definitely enough talent there to have done a different thing. But yeah, I don't see any amazing games next week. I mean, Como
No,
and Monza's, I'll watch that toilet bowl just because that's fun, and I like Monza. Lazio, Parma. Parma is no pushover, but Lazio, I look for them to keep their form going.
yeah,
Torino,
yeah, Parma's
Napoli.
solid.
I'd like to see Napoli grind on another 1-0 win, maybe even get two, maybe get two. You
Uh-huh.
know, and
Who
then
else is playing
yeah,
Champions League? You got Milan coming up. They're gonna play Slovan Bratislava, so that should be a win for them as
Juve
long as
has
they don't
Aston
mess coming
Villa.
up. Okay, that could be interesting. Juve
Yeah,
has
we'll
they
see.
play tomorrow. Or they play Wednesday.
They play on Wednesday, so we're gonna see if
Okay.
Vlahovic is ready for action if he's miraculously healed.
Who
He
does
put
Bologna
the
have?
he got the sports bra on. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, right.
I
Bologna
was I was trying to
has.
find pictures of that for our. You see our amazing background?
I did not yet.
Just
I'll look
wait.
in a
You're
little
gonna be
bit.
really proud. It's
Bologna plays Lille. That's right.
oh
Right.
well, in a world of modern art, you're gonna really like the grinta of our background. It's really cool.
Okay. All right.
Who'd you say Bologna played? I'm sorry, I was really
They
focusing on
play
pictures.
Lille. They play
Okay.
Lille, and then let's see. You got Milan has the easy one against Bratislava. Inter played. I think it was. I can't remember. German team or Austrian team. I can't remember.
Hmm.
Let's see.
We play Aston Villa. You
Inter
play
Milan
oh
plays.
Rebel Leipzig.
That's yeah. Leipzig, and then we talked about Milan, Bologna, Inter. Who else is sitting there in the seal spots?
I'm
Juve,
trying to
Juve
search for it
talked about
right now,
already.
and all I get is the women's. I don't know how to get the men's league. Okay, here we go. I got it.
No,
Yeah,
we talked about Juve already too.
Atalanta
So
plays Young Boys,
Atalanta, that's it.
a
That's the
team
other one.
full of young boys. I think
Atalanta,
they should be
that's
able to win that.
how they play.
They should be able to win that game.
Atalanta should
Uh,
definitely win that game, and Atalanta plays tomorrow as well. There's actually three
okay.
Serie A teams in show tomorrow, or maybe
Oh
four.
really? Oh yeah, this is
Let me see
tomorrow.
when Bologna plays, but yeah, I mean most
Yeah,
everybody
Bologna
besides
plays
Juve
on
so far is
Wednesday.
playing tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah,
so Bologna and Juve
Bologna.
play Wednesday.
Yeah, Bologna
Inter,
and
Atalanta, and Milan
Juventus.
play tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. You think Milan's gonna be able to take it to Bratislava?
It would be pretty funny if they didn't, but yeah, they should be able
I
to.
bet you Leal's gonna go crazy, and then all like the Leal people, they're just gonna be just so much seed hitting the ceiling, and then you're gonna have to
It
deal
could
with it
be.
on X. Yeah, they're just be going nuts. Oh yeah, see, I
I
told
mean,
you.
it's what happened, and after they beat Madrid. I mean, like
Yeah,
Milan played well. It
yeah.
happened, and then everybody thought, okay, this is the real Milan. It's gonna happen. Here comes the season redemption arc. Like, no, it's easier for players to get motivated to play against a sweet team than it is
Yeah.
to get motivated against a bad team. And then when these bad teams play you hard and they mark you tight, it's hard to kind of motivate yourself. It takes an actual good mentality, and not a lot of guys on Milan's team have that mentality. So that's
Well,
why they struggle.
you have to care about the Serie A. You have to care about your league, and these foreign players just don't. Only a few of them really do. And it seems like, especially these prima donna types, you're never going to scrape him off the floor to get him up for a freaking game against Lecce or something like that. But this is a
Yeah,
Champions League
it's hard
game.
to tell, like like Leao and Teo, who are like basically like fashionista superstar people.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to tell them to get excited about Lecce and stuff like that, but it's like you need to. Like those are the games that you have to guarantee you win. And if you beat all the small and medium teams, you'll probably win the Serie A, even if you fail or tie the big teams.
Which this is why having a coach like Antonio Conte is so important.
It is because he's not going to let you rest for a game because if you rest, you're going to get benched.
Yeah, exactly, dude. He is on these guys the whole time. Like Kavara threw a little hissy fit when he got subbed out. It's like, dude, you're not playing
What you
well.
get?
Bye. Yeah, sorry, man.
Yep.
Nothing personal, but time to get the yank. And some fans are like, oh, why didn't he pull out Politano instead? I'm like, because they had um, a 1-0 lead.
Yeah,
They're
Politano
in
works
first
harder.
place, and Politano is basically playing wing back, and Kavara's not going to do that. So yeah, Politano is tactically sound, works hard, and is he as skilled as Kavara? Not by a long shot, but in a 1-0 situation, yeah, I know who I'm subbing off too. They brought in Neres. It's not like you know,
Yeah,
he's a good player, but
he's still a good attacking threat. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's the exact sub that they should be making is freshen up that left flank. Kavara's you know put a couple sloppy balls in, bring Neres in, and see what he can do. And the answer was he couldn't do much, but that's he'll get it. But
You said
yeah,
as Juve is playing Aston Villa. Aston Villa's
Aston Villa.
form is terrible. They tied Crystal Palace. They lost to Liverpool. Lost
Mhm.
to Club Brugge. Lost to Tottenham. Lost to Crystal Palace. Tied to Bournemouth. That's their past like 6 games right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they're
They
four
haven't won in
losses and
six
a
games.
draw. Yeah, yeah,
Dang. Yeah, 2 draws, 4 losses.
yeah. No, I mean,
It's a good time to meet them for Juve. That's for
here,
sure.
well, the thing is, where are they right now in the table? They're ahead of us in the table, though. So
Oh,
we're
in the Champions League table?
yeah,
Really?
we're 11th in the Champions League table and they're ninth. The problem is, okay, this is the new world we live in. That I'm trying to. I get in a lot of discussions, I'd say, on X about the quality of our team. When we're concerned or debating with how Aston Villa will go when you're a team like Juventus, you're not doing the right things with your club.
Yeah.
So this should
Yep.
be a game
If
that
you
you can
actually want
say,
to be like a big team again,
yeah,
these need to be like you can't be satisfied with even thinking about like oh this game is going to be close. It's exactly the same discussion the Milan fans say. But some fans are like oh no this is just how it goes. But the other ones who have been there done that they've seen the team in their glory years are like this is a joke that we're even worried about this team.
right, exactly.
Like that it's a difference in mentality that both our teams don't have right now.
Why do I care about Aston Villa's form? We should beat them when they're in their best form. It doesn't matter. It's Aston Villa. We should
Right, but it
destroy them.
actually does matter now because
Yeah,
of how Juve are playing.
it
Yep.
absolutely matters right now because I
Crazy.
I don't have confidence in our quality. I have confidence in
Yep.
Moda, and there's a couple players that I have confidence in, but no, I don't think. I do want to see Weah start up top. I think I'd like to see him do a little bit something different with the strikers. I mean, we can't score when we want to score. We just have no plan. So I'd like to.
Right.
I don't want to sacrifice defense. If Moto knows best, I'm not sitting there training the guys. But if he feels like he can't make any sort of rotations or personnel adjustments in those front couple spots, then fine. But I personally think he can make a couple little tweaks to just personnel alone, and that might make things a little bit better moving the ball forward. We still have no creativity whatsoever, but bang it to the wing. Just put a just get someone out there who's going to snag a header. I just tell them to start winging balls in the box. I mean, just do that slop. Get some slop. We
I think if you look at the Champions League games that Serie A has, I think they're all should be won. We'll see what
yeah
happens. I'm kind of curious to see how this turns out, but they all should win their round.
yeah
Besides who is it? Is it Bologna who has like I mean Bologna's not a great team, so they're the ones who like maybe shouldn't win it, but could for sure. It's not like they're going against some great team, but I mean every single one should wrap it up, and then Bologna probably should get the win too.
yeah.
Um, that's all my thoughts. Did you have anything else you wanted to go into this week at all?
No, I think that I think that's it. I think we can just do some fun stuff too when it comes down to transfer time. See what we
Well,
put in.
Mercato is always my
Yeah,
favorite time.
Mercato. Yeah,
It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, it's honestly not. It's usually frustrating for me now, but
Well,
like
it's fun to kind of theory craft, right? It's
yeah,
not great to see who your team winds up with, at least for me.
yeah,
It's been awful several seasons here of who we've bought, but it's fun to theory craft and see what I would do, what you would do. That part's great.
yeah. We'll do it. We'll have some fun with that. But then, yeah, I think maybe we reconvene after after this next weekend, and then we'll have Champions League games
Yeah.
and the next week to talk about, and we'll see how the table's shaking out. Can Napoli keep going?
Yes is my answer, but we'll see.
Ah,
But
yeah, I
yes.
hope so, man. That's I'm pulling for Napoli and Fiorentina this year. That's my one and two. I want those. Actually, Lazio's kind of growing on me now that
I
especially with
know.
Ravella.
I'm really digging Lazio and
Yeah,
Fiorentina as my favorite teams. But yeah, I'm totally cool if Napoli takes it.
yeah.
I'm definitely digging Fiorentina and Lazio right now.
Heck yeah, man.
Definitely the ones that I always pay attention to every single weekend are those two teams. So
Oh yeah.
it's been nice to see.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Well, hey, we'll wrap it up then.
Yep. Well, hey, thank you guys for joining, and we will be back in a week. Take care, and Forza Calcio.